I knew nothing else except what we heard on the news, which unfortunately was not good. Yeah. So my perception of Islam growing up was not a good one. So it's quite funny, you know, the thing that I probably knew nothing about and had a bad perception of is what saved me.
Assalamualaikum. In this episode we are in Australia and we are going to meet Janette Martin. Let's meet her.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Janette Martin. I'm originally come from a very small country town called Guyra, New England, New South Wales, and raised as a Christian down there. It's all we knew. It's all that we were introduced to, basically. And moved up here about 20 years ago. I'm a single mum with 5 children. Been on my own for 8 years now, so alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's a massage therapist, remedial massage therapist. I still currently do that, trying to step into doing sisters only here at home.
Like how you first discover Islam?
First good discovery was in Egypt. Yes, I work personally with Egypt now actually and take tours over there.
Oh.
So let me know when you want to go. No. Yeah, May 2019 was my first tour. 2018. And that was my first real opening to Islam. Prior to that, honestly, look, I knew nothing about it really. Only what we heard on the news, which was not good.
Yeah.
You know, so that was my belief in Islam, particularly raising in a small country town. Raised as a Christian, Anglican Church of England, we weren't even we were not told anything else. I knew nothing else except what we heard on the news, which unfortunately was not good. Yeah. So my perception of Islam growing up was not a good one. So it's quite funny, you know, the thing that I probably knew nothing about and had a bad perception of is what saved me.
So you never met like Muslims before?
Not where I come from. Nothing, not down there at all. No, my whole family is still non-Muslim. My children are non-Muslim. I live in still a non-Muslim atmosphere, basically.
How are they taking you?
They're fine. They don't really. I mean, the 2 younger ones, I've got a 15 and a 13-year-old, and they come to Egypt with me, so they're quite open to it as well too. They understand, they've seen the other side of it, so they're fine. My older ones, I've got 28 and twins that are 25, and they're accepting. They don't mind. I mean, they're on their own journey.
Before you became Muslim, what are the kind of misconception that you have about Islam or about Muslims?
Totally, as I said, just growing up not knowing anything, only hearing bad, you're all bad. No, not at all. But that was my conception of, is that, I didn't know the other side. I didn't get to know the real, and I can call myself arrogant. I was one of the arrogant that just didn't even, I listened to the news, I listened to what other people had said, and I didn't even bother to search or find out. Alhamdulillah, I've always had, growing up Christian, didn't feel right, didn't sit right, just didn't gel with me, but I knew there was something. I went on my own spiritual journey, late teenager, went on my own, this new aged believing in a higher power. Definitely there's a higher power. I believed all that, universe, all that sort of thing. So I went into energy healing and did all that. Definitely believed, it's quite funny because when I sat in the mosque, the last 2 days of our tour totally changed, totally flipped. Alhamdulillah. This is in my book. I've just written a book, Muslims at Heart. So this whole story is written down. The whole tour changed, and the last 2 days when we went to visit the mosque, the tour guide sat there and explained what the 5 pillars of Islam actually is. And that's when everything opened.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
And that was your first time ever in masjid?
Ever. Yes. Yeah, ever. And I just sat there and got goosebumps when he explained what your beliefs are. because that's what I went off and believed on my very own without even knowing it.
Complete the puzzle.
Totally,
Right?
it did. It did, totally. So then I just came home and did lots of reading and learning and reading and learning, and I'm still learning. I'm still very new.
We all are, yeah. Could you share with us who is your first teacher about, when you learn about Islam?
My very first teacher, due to respect, I won't mention names, but it would be the tour guide in Egypt. Of course, once he said the 5 pillars of what they believe, and I knew that that's what I'd already believed for so many years anyway, I connected with him, and we've become very close friends and now work together as well in business. He's been, and his family have been terrific.
They're like your early support system kind of thing.
Definitely.
In learning about Islam.
Yes, inshallah.
And
yes.
then when you come back here, where did you go to?
I came back here and it was difficult for a start, really difficult. But I knew I couldn't forget what happened over there. So I just searched, I put out in the Muslim groups asking, to be connected to sisters, someone who can help, someone who I can just connect with. A few sisters have reached out to me, and now I've made great relationships with them. So as much as we often can get together and we just catch up. And so yeah, I've reached out to the mosques as well too, learning Arabic at the moment.
Do you think that as the born Muslim, we're not doing enough job to explain about Islam?
I don't think it's you guys that are doing the problem. I think it's us. For myself, I'll speak for myself, nobody else out there, but I think it is the major problem is we just, we've heard so much negative and we're not even open to it. They don't even sort of really want to learn, don't care to find out the truth. Exactly. Yeah, which is a shame. It is really a shame because once you actually learn, you see the beauty in it so much more than what everyone's missing out on.
Do you have like any funny moment after you become Muslim maybe or before you become Muslim that is related to Islam?
Not really weird. Just trying to tie this hijab on. Seriously.
You're good.
Does it look alright?
Yeah. You look natural.
It's like, seriously, do I?
How long has you been trying this?
No, I only took my Shahada in February this year. So I'm not that long.
When did you first use the hijab?
I did wear it back from Egypt, and it took a little while. So only in a few, only in a few months.
You're quite good.
Oh, thank you. But that would be if you had a camera in front of the mirror, you would have got a few laughs. So that's probably really the funniest.
Right.
Yeah.
Finally, maybe you can share, tips to the new Muslim.
It is really hard, especially for being converted. My tips would be them to once reach out to, don't sit there, alone. Sort of, I did when I first come back, I was reading books and things like that, but I could feel starting to, become distant again. So, and that's when I reached out in the groups. So reach out to people, try and find a couple of, sisters that you connect with and gel with and really build a friendship and keep that, keep that connection. I think is very, very important.